From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings, LALATE.
And good morning, everybody. It's LALATE on Mornings LALATE as big news happens. Today, the CPI is released and it showed inflation cooled. But is it as cool as initially thought? We'll have the breaking news across the board. What got cheaper in the latest consumer price index number released for the month of November? We'll have the breakdown of all the numbers. You're going to be surprised what got cheaper. Wall Street's reaction. The markets were initially up and now they're down on the news. Plus, we'll have a White House reaction to the latest inflationary report. And the big surprise is a new indication that travel and leisure could be cooling while inflation remains red hot in housing, which is a very big component of inflation. In today's recording, we're going to go over those incredible stimulus checks. Thank goodness they are law. Been law since the month of March. And these incredible stimulus checks are huge. And over this broadcast, I'm going to show you how to get these huge stimulus checks. As inflation's cooling, but a recession's 30 days away. How much of stimulus checks do we have? A lot of them. $300,000 of stimulus checks, 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, and that is the average with 5 checks per month. We're going to go over these fast stimulus that has been law since the month of March and pays out in about 2 days in some cases. 18 months of stimulus checks and big money. And they are absolutely wonderful. Over this 1 hour broadcast, I'm going to go over these incredible checks. We're going to go over the latest details on the markets. We're going to have a countdown to Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve that meets starting today and continues to tomorrow that decides what they want to do with those big interest rate spikes starting this month and continuing next month as well. Good morning, everybody. The toast is toast and the butter is butter and the coffee is brewing and the CPI has been released. Thank you for tuning in on the show that I told you would start a major week. It is the Tuesday broadcast of that CPI release, but later today on afternoons and evenings, we'll have the latest details out of the Federal Reserve's December FOMC meeting. And tomorrow we'll see whether or not we're going into a Santa Claus rally. Big stimulus heats out this broadcast, $300,000 of stimulus checks passed in the month of March. I'm going to show you how to get these huge stimulus checks. They're for you. They are paying out a lot of money. 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, 5 stimulus checks per month. But first, let's go into the breaking news across the board with these that is indicative of why you want to get these incredible stimulus checks. The CPI was released minutes ago, and I had the Consumer Price Index for the month of November, the CPI, which gauges inflation, what happened in that number. Coming into today's number, you and I all knew that the CPI was going to be a positive number, not a negative number for the headline, month to month and year to date. And we all knew it was going to be, a 7% something annualized, 7% compared to the prior November of 2021. So did you and I get it right? Let's see if you got it right again, Purple Power. The answer is yes, Purple Power. You got it right again. The Consumer Price Index number released today showed inflation was still 7% plus year to date compared to the prior November in today's data released minutes ago. The number came in at 7.1%, the CPI year to date. That's compared to the prior year of November, and 0.1% compared to the prior month. That's exactly what we were talking about, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. Wall Street was looking for a 7.3%, so this is a little bit less than Wall Street was expecting, and they're looking at 0.3 on the monthly. It came in at 0.1. Much of a surprise there? No, it's basically the same number. Initially, and this is what we were wanting to see, we wanted to see the reaction to the CPI news, because we already knew what the CPI was, you and I, Purple Power community. We wanted to see the reaction to the news, and immediately the market was straight up. They thought this was great news. They thought, wow, this is the best CPI in a long time. And they ran some of the data that this was the lowest CPI increase since November 2021. Yeah, but it's still 7%. The Federal Reserve wants inflation year to date at 2%, as I have been recording on this channel, and you know very well, since early this year. They went into 2% inflation. It came in 7.1. A year ago, inflation came in at 8%. So in 1 year, we got inflation from 8% to 7.1. Why would anyone celebrate this news? And yet, that was immediately the reaction by the markets. The markets were up initially. The Dow and the Nasdaq up on the news. Right now, at the time of this live broadcast, which you're tuning in on a big, bold, beautiful Tuesday morning, the markets are down. The markets are down because they now realize that there's nothing really to celebrate in this news. Excluding food and energy, the core CPI rose 0.2% compared to the prior month. Wall Street is looking at 0.3, so it's basically in the money. I mean, it's not a beat because it's almost the same number. And they were looking at 6.1 year to date. It came in 6%. So, I mean, that's basically what they were looking at. So, exactly as you, Purple Power, had predicted, you do so well on this channel. You have really learned so well. You had said it was going to be about 7% CPI number today. It came in at 7.1. You got it right. Now, what got cheaper? Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. I love this part of the show today, because today we actually have the breakdown of what got cheaper and what got more expensive in the latest CPI. Which item do you believe got the cheapest in the latest CPI? Jump in the live chat. Before I go over what got the cheapest, let's go over what got the most expensive. So you write in the live chat, I'll jump in there with you and see what you write. What do you think got cheaper? It would be a negative number. It would be a negative number like a negative 2%, negative 3%. What do you believe got cheaper month to month in the latest CPI number? Annualize. Let's look and see which got the most expensive in the latest CPI number. Eggs. Oh, they're not that delicious. Eggs were up 49% year to date in the latest CPI number. Has inflation cooled? Not according to the chickens. Has inflation cooled? Not according to the check-ins. It's up 49%, the CPI for the eggs. The eggs are up 49% 1 year. Airline fares, obviously, they have not cooled. They're up 36%, but that's a little bit lower than they were before. Butter. I can't believe it's not butter again. Yeah, it is butter. It is butter again. Butter's up 34% annualized. That's a lot of inflation and a lot of the cholesterol as well. Public transportation's up 24%. Wow. Lettuce. We were talking about lettuce a few days ago. I told you I would not pay $3 for a head of iceberg lettuce at the market last weekend, and I left it there. I said, I'm not paying $3 for a head of iceberg lettuce. It's supposed to be 99 cents or $1, $1.20. I'm not paying $3.50 for a head of lettuce. It's a head of lettuce. It's not like 4 heads of lettuce. It's not like, a whole half-court basketball team of lettuce. It's just 1 head of lettuce. It is up 20% in the latest CPI. Cereal and baked goods. Too many carbs. Too many carbs. And I will pass on that. That's up 16% on the latest CPI number. And then pet food for your pet lobster. Pet food for Mitch's Pet Lobster up an enormous amount, 15% of the latest CPI. You already knew gas, you have too much gas. The gas is up 15% of the latest CPI, and the milk is up 15%. So that was really what was hot, really too hot. Let's jump in the live chat right now, and let's see if you got the prediction on what was the cheapest number across the board. Dragon saying inflation's still too hot. And then Dallas asking Bob, are you feeling okay? Bob is not feeling okay because the lettuce is too expensive. Bob is not doing well because he wanted to have cheaper lettuce and the head is just too big. And there is Dallas saying, good afternoon, LA. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Inflation is just too darn high. And I used to eat a lot of cereal, says Ann. And Anne will not be eating a lot of cereal because that cereal is just too darn expensive. So what was the drop? Where were the numbers dropping today? In the prior CPI, as reported yesterday on this channel, the 3 numbers that dropped were used car sales, medical, and gas. So what were the numbers that dropped today? Major appliances. Wow. Dishwasher, washing machine down 1%. Used cars really down a lot, 3.3%. So this is even more than last month. These used cars are really taking a major tumble very, very quickly. If you're one of those people like me that loves watching Meekum on cable, you know, with the antique cars, they're leaving a lot of cars unsold. The bid goes on. The bid goes on because no one is paying those used car prices. And then computers and smart home assistants. Assistants? I think that's supposed to say assistants, not assistants, not the people. The people aren't down. I mean, they're not shorter. The assistants are down 4.4%. And then beef and veal. Dragon, do you eat a lot of veal? I love veal, but it's hideously expensive. But not according to the latest CPI report. It's down 5.2%. Veal had the biggest drop of prices from $1,000 a pound to, $800 a pound. And then car rentals, which we all know. Those car rental prices have been insanely ridiculous this year. They've been crazy. One day car rental, $300 for one day. It's just, for a Pinto. They're down 6%. They need to go down 20%. And then television sets. Oh, I love this one. New TV sets down 17%. Good. And smartphones. This was a big, interesting one. Smartphones are down at 23.4%. The biggest drop of all the numbers down across the board is the smartphones down 23.4%. Bob just asked, are lobster shorts down? They are. There's a lot of inflation for lobster shorts in Kentucky. There's a lot of inflation for lobster shorts in Kentucky right now. Where do I apply for those checks? It says Michael Ellison. So, Michael, if you want to get stimulus checks, the place you apply Michael Ellison for stimulus checks is in the newsletter. The place you apply for stimulus checks is in the newsletter. And stay with me over this broadcast because I'll show you how to do it. Those incredible stimulus checks are in the newsletter, and you go right in and apply. The newsletter is delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific, my time, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. What time zone are you in, Michael? I'll tell you exactly what time to watch for that newsletter coming via the YouTube alerts. Jump in the live chat across the board. And with that, let's look at some stimulus checks. That teed us up beautifully. Let's look at some beautiful stimulus checks. These incredible stimulus checks are enormous. $300,000 of stimulus checks that became law in the month of March, and there's nearly 300 different checks. Let's look at see everything we need to know about those checks starting right now. $300,000 of stimulus checks became law in the month of March, and they're absolutely wonderful. And you qualify. These incredible stimulus checks are yielding about 18 months of monthly stimulus checks right now. $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, 5 stimulus checks per month, and they're absolutely wonderful. And here we go. You want to push and get them right away. They're fast stimulus that pay out in about 48 hours. You go under this video and become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's understand where those stimulus checks came from starting right now. They were passed by executive action of Joseph Biden, the first 3 checks. And those first 3 checks are stimulus checks A, B, and C. And those are beautiful. They're about $100,000 of stimulus checks from Joseph Biden to you. And we're going to go over how to get those incredible stimulus checks. And I'm going to show you, including Michael, how to get these beautiful stimulus checks in this recording. Those first 3 checks, A, B, and C, $100,000. And you qualify. There's only one thing to qualify for, the income level. $75,000 less, single individual, you qualify. Marry a couple, $150,000 less, you qualify. And those are the first 3 checks. But there's more checks, which we're going to go over in this recording, because Congress came along and passed a bill, which established more stimulus checks, checks E through K. Those stimulus checks are all in the newsletter. And I found you more checks after that. L&M, N&O, P and Q. Michael Ellison, where do I apply for the stimulus checks? In the newsletter. In the newsletter. Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you receive the LALATE alert via YouTube. There it is. So what time zone are you in, Michael? I'll tell you exactly what time you get that YouTube alert. That's what that YouTube alert looks like. It arrives exactly on the money. You go down the alert, past the guy with the surfboard. There he is. See it, Michael? And you go past the guy on the surfboard to where it says View Post. Click the button, and it sends you right into the newsletter. That's where you apply for those incredible checks. you pounce Purple Hawks and get those incredible sums of money. I'm going to go over all these incredible checks one at a time in today's recording. Then we'll be turning to inflation release stimulus checks and also lifetime stimulus checks. Absolutely incredible. And the newsletter is for you. So Michael is in Oklahoma. Thank you, Michael. So Oklahoma, according to Dragon, is Central Standard Time. I should know that, but I'm trying to visualize it. But if you are Central Standard Time, as Dragon says, then that would be 9 o'clock your time. If Oklahoma is Central Standard Time, which I guess Dragon's right because she's always right, you would be 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. You get that alert from YouTube exactly on the money. You go down that alert, past the guy with the surfboard, pass him where it says click view post, click the button, and it sends you right into the newsletter. Then in the newsletter, you go down to check A, click and apply. Down to B, click and apply. Down to C, it tells you who to call and what to say. And then after that, you go down to E, F, Q, all the way to Q. And I'm going to show you each of these wonderful checks one at a time in just a second. Let's go back into the breaking news we're dealing with right now before we continue with stimulus in just a second. So the Wall Street reaction to the news is fascinating. They actually got it right. They actually got it right. I thought they were going to get it wrong. I thought Wall Street was going to trade up on the news and stay up for today, and then tomorrow was going to be down. No. Wall Street traded up for a few minutes and then immediately went right back down. The Dow is currently down across the board, and the Nasdaq is down as well. Where are they trading right now on the CPI read? Let me tell you where they are. The Dow is about 6 points down. The Nasdaq actually is relatively flat, about 0.5% up, $62 up currently at the moment. But here's some of the reaction to the news, and let's see if we agree or disagree. Jump in the live chat, and I want to hear your responses. Ann and Dragon and Michael, I want to see if you agree or disagree, and I'll give you my opinion as well. Robert Frick, corporate economist at Navy Federal, says, cooling inflation will boost the markets and take pressure off the Federal Reserve for raising rates. But most importantly, this provides relief starting for Americans. Agree or disagree? I disagree. It's not boosting the markets. Why would a number of 7% inflation excite the markets? Last year in December of 2021, the inflation rate was 8%. Today, a year later, it's 7.1%. It means that all that horrible interest rate spikes of the Federal Reserve did nothing, and you suffered all those interest rate spikes and you're still at 7%. We got to go to 2%. That means we have a long way out. So I don't think the market's excited about this at all. And that's why the markets are down across the board. And then Jim Cramer's reaction to the news. They call me the next Jim Cramer. I appreciate that very much. But Jim Cramer's reaction to the news is, this is a remarkable number. Why does he say that? I don't think it's a remarkable number. I think it's a very predictable number. Yesterday, you and I all said it was going to be 7% somewhere, 7.1, 7.4, 7.3. It's 7. If it was 6, maybe I'd be a little bit, happy. The fact that it's maybe 6 in January, 5 in January, I'm not excited. I mean, we got to go to 2. Moreover, I'm not excited that the component parts that are critical, like housing, we'll go into a second, are so high. Here's Paul Ashcroft at Capital Economics. The Fed could dismiss the better than expected October number as 1 month of data, but the further slowing down in November makes this disinflationary trend hard to dismiss. Stick a fork in it, inflation's done. I really disagree. Do you agree with Paul Ashcroft? I really disagree. Inflation's done? Paul, how can you say that? I mean, the only numbers that are down in this report are veal and beef, computers, used cars, smartphones, and car rentals and television sets. I mean, airfare is still up 36%, eggs are up 49%, milk 15%. Americans buy milk and eggs. I mean, if they were up 4% or 3%, then I would think we're making some progress. Cereal's up, pet food is up 17%. I mean, what do you mean inflation's done? Stick a fork in it. It's a positive number. It's positive 16%. I mean, stick a fork in that analysis. That analysis is overcooked. Did I say that? I did say that. I do not hold back if you're new to this channel. I do not hold back. Let's go to some more of the reaction to the news. The White House. The White House. Joe Biden had some comments to the news. Get ready to roll your eyes, because I'm going to roll mine with you. came Joe Biden. The White House reacted to the CPI. Why am I rolling my eyes to our beloved president? I'm sorry, Joe. This is why I'm rolling my eyes to you. Because earlier this year, the President of the United States, if you remember well, said he hates the Consumer Price Index number. He hates the report. He hates the CPI. He says it's a horrible report. It's delayed. It's not concurrent data. It's not live data. Of course it's not live data. It's the prior month. He said the CPI is not a reliable report. What do you say today? It's a reliable report. This is why people hate politicians. This is why people don't like politicians. He said he doesn't like the CPI as a report in general. Today he loves it. We learned last month that inflation came down and more than expected in a world where inflation is rising in double digits. Inflation's coming down in America. Yeah. I read that quote while I was having my milk and eggs this morning. Now, here's the one that I really want you to focus on because this is important. And that is the latest details on housing and also travel and leisure. First, a new report out today, and this is the second time we've seen this as well, is that travel and leisure is really cooling fast. This is not a fake. JetBlue, the airline, lowered its outlook for demand because it did not reach its expectations. And now there's a new series of reports that show that travel and leisure and hotels fell nearly 5% from November to October, according to the latest consumer inflationary report. That's improvement, but they're still up 30% year to date. Now, the one that I'm more concerned about is housing. You know why I'm concerned about this. Housing is nearly 30% of inflation in the CPI every time it's released. And what was the housing number? Housing was still up 7.1% year to date. Remember, the overall CPI was up 7.1 year to date. Well, housing was exactly 7.1% up year to date. If housing is up 7% with inflation, imagine the demand for stimulus. You need rent stimulus. You need utility stimulus. You need mortgage assistance. And with that, let's go over these incredible stimulus checks. You ready, Michael? You ready, Ann and Dragon? Let's go over some incredible stimulus checks. And let's look and see how they work, starting with those wonderful check A's. How do you get stimulus check A? Stimulus check A is a beautiful $6,500 to $12,000 stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 less. If that's you, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less. Go get it. How do you get it? Step one, you go into this video, become a member. And the incredible viewers in this live chat right now are members. So the next step is you want to get the membership newsletter. That is where you apply for the checks. So according to Dragon, can everyone else confirm that that is true, that Oklahoma is Central Standard Time? Because I want to make sure we are correct on that. If Oklahoma is Central Standard Time, then Dragon says confirmed, yes, Oklahoma is Central Standard Time. So Michael Ellison, for you would watch for the YouTube alert arriving to you at exactly 9 o'clock p.m. Central, your time. So your time, Michael, is 9 o'clock Central Standard Time in Oklahoma at exactly 9 o'clock, exactly on the money. You would get a YouTube alert, and that one would look a little bit different in the content. It would say, here's the newsletter, get ready, go down past the guy in that alert. You see a guy with a surfboard, go down past the guy to where it says click and view the post, and click it, and it sends you right into the newsletter. So Michael, watch for 9 o'clock exactly on the money. When you go into that newsletter, then the first thing you see is the price of gasoline and the price of corn and wheat and the international price of Brent crude. And right after that is stimulus check A. You go right down to stimulus check A, click the link. It sends you into a big stimulus check A application website. Choose Oklahoma, click and choose Oklahoma, and then go right in and apply for stimulus check A. It's that straightforward. Now, when you're done with that, Michael, the next one you want to apply for is stimulus check B. $75,000 less, single individual. If that's you, go get it. And what is stimulus check B? Stimulus check B is a lot of money. Stimulus check B is a lot of money, $15,000 to $80,000. So how do I get stimulus check B, LLA? Open that newsletter. Once you're in there, after you do stimulus check A, go down to B in the newsletter, click the link, and it sends you right into stimulus check B's application online. All you need is a cell phone for this. You can do this completely with your cell phone. You don't need any technical background at all. If you're watching me on a cell phone, you can do this on a cell phone. It sends you into stimulus check B, click the link, and go right and apply. Now, for stimulus check C, it's a little bit different. It's different than all the other stimuluses because we got a lot of stimulus checks to go over in this recording. After the commercial break, we'll continue with E through K and L and M and O and Q, but C is a little bit different. C revolves around you and the phone and making phone calls. It shows you 12 places to reach out to for rent, utility, mortgage assistance, and more. First, become a member. Then go down that membership newsletter, and at Stimulus Check C in the newsletter, it tells you who to call, what to say, and how to say it for rent, utility, mortgage assistance, and more. Overnight, I received a message from someone on Facebook, and the message was, I reached out to one place in Arizona. Dragons will love this one. I reached out to one place in Arizona, and they said they didn't have money. You know that's not the way you do it. It's never been the way you do it on this channel. This channel's been around since March of 2020. It's always 12 places you reach out to. You're going to get a no. For every no, you're going to get a yes. You reach out to all 12 places because once you get a no, you're also going to get a yes. You don't get one no and call quits. That's not putting the effort in. That's why in the newsletter, Stimulus Checks, you have 12 places for you to reach out to. You make those phone calls and get those incredible checks. And let's look at some of the success stories that viewers have had for those incredible check Cs. And they're absolutely wonderful. $20,000 to $30,000 of rent, and then we have combinations of checks. Here's Mark. He was at $32,000 of stimulus checks. He went to $50,000. Then he went to $100,000 of stimulus checks. He went to $166,000. The success stories keep on coming in on a regular basis. But we're not done there yet because in the big second half, we're going to continue to stimulus checks E through K, L and M, N and O, and P and Q. We got a lot of money to go over in the big second half. Go right in this video, become a member, as the viewers in the live chat have done right now. If you have questions as well, post them in the live chat. I'll read them during the commercial break, and I'll answer them after the commercial break. And after that commercial break, we'll continue with those big other stimulus checks. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as Mornings LA continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues in a big, bold, beautiful Mornings LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. I guess Virgil's a little bit under the weather, so send your messages of warm support for Virgil. And I think Lynn Glenn said she was a little bit under the weather as well, so send kind messages. One viewer said, is Anne invisible? Anne has superpowers. She is invisible when she wants to be invisible. But no, I see Anne in the live chat as well. And Michael Ellison, if you have any other questions, jump in that live chat right now. I'm here to help you and here to answer all your incredible questions. That's why I love a live show. And we had a lot of fun last night on that LA Late 8 o'clock show, which is a lot of fun. We had some strange technical difficulties yesterday. Not mine, but I was the victim of them, or you were as well. The start of instant premiere shows at 5 and 6 and 7 didn't start for some reason. They sort of sat there, and so I had to push them out. By 8 o'clock, the problem was fixed. Thank goodness. I want to really thank you. Last night's LA Late live show, which is on Channel 1, was our most watched show on this channel in nearly 2 months. I also want to thank you for the viewership of that LA Late Night show, which was at 8 o'clock, and, I had just rushed my onion rings, didn't get to finish them, but they were deliciousness. And that show was on fire. We had a lot of fun. So if you are just having your eggnog, and you're wondering what can I do, jump in the live chat and have some fun with me at that 8 o'clock show across the board. Let's continue with these incredible stimulus checks. Congress passed more stimulus checks, and those became checks E through K, and they're absolutely wonderful. And a lot of the stimulus you're seeing concerns your home, and the housing data shows that horrible inflation still of housing, 7.1% year to date, when the CPI is actually almost the same or a little bit less. Let's get some other stimulus checks. Stimulus check E, $7,500 stimulus check. Stimulus check F, $4,000 stimulus check. Stimulus check G, a beautiful 30% off. Stimulus check H, $2,000 stimulus check. Stimulus check I, $8,000 stimulus check. Stimulus check J, $8,000 stimulus check. Stimulus check K, $14,000 stimulus check. Let's continue with these incredible stimulus checks. Those were the ones done by Congress. Then came other stimulus checks. Stimulus check L and M. L is $100,000 on average of loan interest-free money. M is $4,000 a stimulus check. N, brand new computer, tablet, laptop. Would you like a brand new computer, tablet, or laptop? Absolutely, go get it. It's so easy to get. It's one of the easiest stimuluses in the newsletter. Again, these are all in the newsletter. A, B, and C are first in the newsletter. Click, click, click. And then E through K are together. Then we go into the other ones lower on the newsletter. It's so straightforward. Stimulus O, zero down payment, zero closing costs for brand new mortgage. And then we go to P, which is a beautiful 3% for a refi and $8,000 of closing costs. There you go. Let's go back over these federal stimulus checks. So they're from the federal government. So the federal government has a lot of money. They send the money out. They run the applications. Fastest routing time, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday, had $45,000 for Wednesday. Biggest check, $100,000. Smallest stimulus check, $8,000. You qualify. We have stimulus checks for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, home appliances, home repairs, computer, car, and internet. A lot of deliciousness. With that, let's go into those inflation relief stimulus checks. These are from your states, not from Joe Biden. And they're great, but they're not wonderful. I for inflation and also for icing, because they're not the cake. They're only about $1,000. They're down the newsletter at Stimulus Check D. So go down the newsletter, Stimulus Check D. It tells you where they're coming from and the amount of them. And then let's go to lifetime stimulus. Lifetime stimulus is one of those really important subject matters. You get a benefits check if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, rural benefits, and veterans benefits. Bob Bacon sent me a beautiful, hysterical message over the weekend. He said, I found out how much my raise is going to be for next year. And once it goes up, it never goes down. I love when my viewers repeat back my catchphrases to me. Just make sure you put the royalty check in the mail, Bob. Let's go over how this is happening. Your current check that you have now in the month of December has a 5.9% raise compared to last year. Your check in January will have a, I just lost my train of thought. 7.9. I just lost my train of thought. I think it's 7.9% raise on top of 7.8% raise on top of the 5.9. Then in 2024, you'll get another raise in January, and in 2025, you'll get another raise on top of that. Meantime, your cost of goods will come down and will finally be back to those normal prices in 2024. So by 2024, you'll have the largest check and also the cheapest cost of goods at the same time. With that, let's go back in the breaking news. And if you have any other questions, I'm here with you live on air. So post them in the live chat. I'll be answering your questions on this beautiful morning's broadcast as the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and the coffee is brewing. And here you go. Dragon had a beautiful comment in the live chat. She said that there's 122 places to apply for stimulus in Arizona. Arizona has an enormous amount of stimulus. Arizona has an enormous amount of stimulus. There's 122 places to apply for stimulus in Arizona. And what's important to understand is you do not make one call and call it quits. That is lazy. Lazy as lazy can be. You make one phone call and you call it quits. Folks, that was never the first day of this channel. The first day of this channel was people told by SBA nothing, nada, no help. And I said, hang up the phone and call back and speak to someone else. You get a no, you do not stop with a no. You keep on pushing and pouncing, getting all those incredible pounds of money. Now, let's go back to the breaking news we're working on right today. It's Tuesday. It is the 13th of December. What happens later today? The start of the FOMC meeting for the month of December in the Federal Reserve and Jay Powell. They're going to do exactly what you knew they're going to do. 50 basis point starting this month, and they're going to stay with 50 basis point for a while. Because let's be honest here. Let's not play games with numbers. Inflation was 8% a year ago, and today it's 7.1%. There is no victory celebration lap in that number. It has come down less than 1 percentage point in a year. We need to get it to 2%. 2% from 8% is 6 percentage points. 6 percentage points. We haven't moved it 1 percentage point in 12 months. Now, don't look at that and say 6 percentage points. That looks like we'll be doing this for 12 years. Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's not that scary. It's going to pick up a little bit more, but Jay Powell has a long way to go. He's going to say something like inflation has cooled, and yeah, it's coming down a little bit, but we have a long way to go. He does. Number two, anyone that says that there's two ridiculous expressions. The Fed pivot, which is never going to happen, which is the Federal Reserve just stops. They're not going to pivot anytime soon. Number two, inflation's peaked. I hate that expression. I hate the expression inflation's peaked. Why? Peaked means and coming back down. Have you ever driven on a street that has a hill? You go up the hill, and then you're at the top of the hill, and then you're coming down the hill. Down the hill means you're going down. It's like you're going down a flight of stairs. You're going down the flight of stairs, you're going down. Have you ever been in a plane? You go up elevation, and then you go down in elevation. As you go down, it's a descent. Down, it's negative. Inflation has not peaked because it's a positive 7% number compared to the year before. I mean, this is ridiculous. People look at inflation that was 8% up last year. Now it's up 7% this month. It hasn't peaked. When it's negative 1 percentage point, the year-to-date number, then come back to me. We have a long way on that across the board. Peaked is the wrong use of the English language, and every time I see it, I just want to laugh. Now, I don't want to particularly laugh when I look at these component parts. I mean, look at these component parts that are up so darn much. And these component parts really show us that something is really quite wrong. And what are those component parts that are up so much? Eggs. The farmers really believe they can get you at 50% higher eggs than the year before. Until the farmers stop it, it's going to continue. The airlines think they can really gouge you. Did I just say that? I think I did. Let's be frank. The airline fares went up early this year because the jet fuel was more expensive. Remember? Yeah, gasoline was very expensive in spring, March of 2022, because Putin invaded Ukraine. The jet fuel is the cheapest of the entire year right now. The jet fuel is the cheapest of the entire year right now. The salaries. Does it cost more in salaries to run an airline than earlier this year? A little bit, but about 1 percentage point of the salary increases. Let's give them 2 percentage points. The salaries at the airlines, the airline pilots are not being paid 36% higher salaries than last year. So where is the 36% coming from? they're just sticking it to you. They're just sticking it to you. It's gouging. And until they get a cooling off, less demand, it's not going to come down. Butter and margarine, same problem. And the lettuce, and the cereals, and the pet food. You know, pet food is just, does it cost more to eat as a lobster this year than last year? Bob, answer the question. No. Coming up next is Holidays LA at 11 a.m. or maybe it's going to be 11:15 because the show started a little bit late. And then jump into that live show because that live show is about to start up as well for the shores of Santa Monica, California. Thank you for joining me on a beautiful Mornings LA. The programming continues throughout the day and all three channels, LA1, LA2, and LA3. Don't forget to become a member. Tell your friends and family to come on over. Let me go back on camera for just that. Hey, tell your friends and family come on over. Share the videos. Share the videos. Tell people to watch this channel. Tell people to subscribe. Tell people to come on over. This is the channel where people care. This is a channel where people are making big progress. This is a channel where people are making big improvements in their lifestyles, learning and earning like record numbers. Tell people to come on over. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. Spread the word of mouth. Like the video. Subscribe. And make sure you have those bells set to all notifications on all on. For the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, and that food looks quite delicious as well. We got a lot to go over today, and we're just getting started. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and as always, stay with LA for more.